Let's get some more analysis of what all this means and how to sift through the facts that we have from Beirut. We're going live there to speak to Robert Fisk, who's the Middle East correspondent for the British newspaper, The Independent. Robert Fisk, you must have heard Dan there saying, it's very difficult to sift through what there is. How do you tell the difference between conspiracy theories and the actual facts of what may have happened in this murder?
Well, I think, first of all, there's not a conspiracy theory. There was an international murder in Dubai, and we know that false British, Irish, German, French passports were used, and that 7 of the names turn out to be Israeli citizens who claim they weren't in Dubai. So there's a strong link to Israel. The fact that the Dubai and the Emirates authorities are accusing Israel is not surprising. I mean, the British Foreign Office and the Irish Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the foreign ministry officials in both Paris and Germany called in the Israeli consuls, diplomats, Israeli ambassador in London for an explanation, which they haven't been given. I mean, this was not the Symbionese Liberation Front, this was a serious operation. I think that there are 2 issues involved here. The first is whether, and you've got to realize these passports are real. It is the forged bit of it is the picture in them and the name, but the passports are real. I have spoken to authorities in the Emirates who have told me that they have the correct biometric markings and holograph markings on the passport. We know now that there are about 18 people involved, not 11, and we've also got the case of the 6 credit cards issued in the United States used by them. So there's a lot more evidence to come out if the Dubai police chief wants to bring it out now. But I think he's doing a drip, drip, drip to try and put more and more pressure on the Europeans to do something, which ultimately, certainly in the case of the United Kingdom, I think the British will not, because at the end of the day, relations with Israel matter more than the murder of a Hamas man, even though the rights of British citizens have been infringed and endangered by the use of their passports.
But Robert Fisk, you spoke of a source in Dubai who's told you that these are genuine passports. It sounds like at least he or she or perhaps others are feeling that this has gone too far. Is that a sense that you got?
Well, the sense that I get, and I must say that my main source in the Emirates doesn't agree with me on this, is that if these passports are real, and we know the Israelis have used genuine Canadian passports before, we also know, by the way, the Secretary of the State Department in Washington once used genuine Irish passports to go to Tehran for Oliver North and his friends. But if these are genuine passports, which I believe they are, how did they get into the hands of the Israelis if we assume they're behind this? Was there some intelligence connection between the British and Mossad, or between the French Secret Service and Mossad? How did the Irish passports get in? There's an awful lot of cooperation between, for example, Canadian police and intelligence security authorities and Israel. It's written into an official agreement, though much of it is secret. We want to know how these passports left the hands of the UK authorities, not just how they got into the hands of what we presume is Israel.
The thing is that it's terribly complicated. There are a lot of governments involved. It sounds like the plot of a John le Carré type of spy novel. But is it really any different? Does it cross the line?
I don't read John le Carré.
Does it cross the line that hasn't been crossed before? You've spoken about previous incidents where there has been some aspects of possible collusion.
Look, I think we come down to 2 basic things. It's not good enough to say we don't confirm but we don't deny. If any other country in the world said that about a political assassination, ambassadors would be recalled, not just questioned. This is a very serious matter because the lives of every European are now being impinged upon by this case. What if you or I travel to Dubai and our name has already been used on a genuine passport with a false picture in a political murder? We're going to be arrested, or at least we should be arrested, even if it's not us. So you see, I think what we've got here is how do European countries guard their own citizens when this happens? But again, I ask myself, how did those passports leave UK hands? They were produced in the United Kingdom. The actual passports, the documents were produced there. What we don't know is who put the pictures in, though we suspect. And that's what, as I say, I think the Israelis are behind it, probably. The Jerusalem Post was saying that Netanyahu and his cabinet, and I was in Tel Aviv when this murder occurred, were walking out in Jerusalem, smiles all over their faces. The real question is, will the Brits, for example, do anything? And I think they won't. The Israelis, if they are behind this, calculated they'd get away with it, and I think they will, as usual.
Thank you. Robert Fisk, live from Beirut, the Middle East correspondent of The Independent.